Welcome to a day in the life truck camping in Alaska. Coming up in this video,
Ben says it's not a very thick manual, it can't be that hard. We have tasked ourselves with catching dinner tonight.
here's a bite for you guys. Yum.
That was 13 years ago. I've never stuck his fingers in my mouth again.
It doesn't get any more real than what you're going to see today.
We are Ben and Rebecca of Outliers, Overland, a couple of outside-the-box thinkers who ironically travel inside a box.
Meet Denny, our trusted four-wheel drive expedition vehicle, and he enjoys taking the road less traveled as much as we do.
Join us as we search for off-the-beaten-path destinations and a life less ordinary.
Well, this is it. Hello from Seward, Alaska, our home. And we're leaving it. Yes, our first travel, fun, enjoying life video since we left Mexico. I hope you guys are all doing very well. This is a mighty unique summer in Alaska because we are the only people up here. There are no, I would say, RVers from the United States. There are people that can fly in, but you can't drive through Canada right now. So you know what that means? We have the entire state to ourselves.
Well, it's been a long couple of days getting Denny ready to go on this camping trip, but when I climbed into Denny for the first time today, it was kind of like a, oh, welcome home feeling, and also a reminder of like, oh yeah, we go have fun in this thing. So it's going to be kind of an unusual summer. Definitely a lot fewer tourists. People are flying in, but of course you can't drive up through Canada. So we're going to take advantage of that. Go spend some time out on the road. The Airbnb is kind of like meh this year, so we thought might as well make the most of it. And we definitely are gonna miss you guys because we're used to everybody showing up here and giving a shout out, and we get together for a bonfire or we go camping together, and that won't happen, but we're gonna have fun anyway and get back out on the road and make the most of it.
This is the hour, the darkest place. Dante's Inferno, the devil's maze. It's a good world, good world going bad.
Well, this is the moment of truth, and I know a lot of people can relate to what I'm thinking. I got a campsite in mind. I love this campsite. I hope nobody's there. Oh, goodness. You just kind of like, you have this vision of like, hey, I want to go camping and I want to go here. Oh, let's see here. But look at this. Drop down to the lake. Couldn't do this in old Nelly. To truly, and oh, look to the right, honey, look to the right. That's our site, right there.
All right, I can see why. That's a good choice.
My pops and I came here last fall. It was wonderful. We caught fish, we ate well, we enjoyed that nice crisp fall weather. The water's definitely lower, but we should still be able to fish. We got a fire ring. For the most part, this is a fairly level campsite. Let's set up. like Beck mentioned, we got a late start on the day. So despite on how bright and light it is, it's actually coming up on 9 o'clock at night.
Is it really
Yes,
that
it is.
late?
It is.
God.
We got a really late start today. One thing, well, this is Sitka. Some of you guys would recognize him from our trip to the Arctic Ocean. He's Beck's mom's dog, an 11-year-old border collie. And aside from being a little restless when you're driving, he is a great dog.
Well, it being 9 o'clock at night, the bugs are also out and about with us. So we're going to call it a night. But tomorrow, we'll see you here in the morning, and we're going to have an awesome camping trip together.
Okay, well, good morning from Alaska. Today's video is going to be a day in the life, and I literally just crawled out of bed. I'm not going to do the whole fake scene of turn the camera on, jump back into bed, and come here, but this is real. It doesn't get any more real than what you're going to see today. I do need to go to the bathroom, but it doesn't need to get that real. Okay, fan on and open, and air blowing in means everything that happens in there goes out the window. Okay. Now, real quick, it's chilly outside, so the fan does not need to be blowing air in all the time. So, fan off, but I want the vent to stay open. Hey, you're awake.
Mm-hmm.
Morning.
Good morning.
How'd you sleep?
Really well.
You got me up at 5:30 saying you heard a thump on the camper.
I think a bird hit the camper.
It didn't even wake the dog, but you woke me.
Well, I don't care if it woke the dog up or it woke me up.
Was it like a grizzly bird?
It was like back here and it went...
Oh. Did it make any noises?
The bird didn't. I just the thunk.
Gosh, I'm glad we survived.
Me too.
And just because we travel in a camper doesn't mean that we don't get to enjoy the modern electronic personal care items like an electric toothbrush. I think we've established over the years that I have crazy hair. It's not that I don't brush it. I just don't like putting product in my hair, especially when we're in the camper, because I'm going to reveal I don't shower every single day in here. And there's just something about having product in your hair and going to bed. Everybody has their thing. But this hair is getting long again. I don't think I have the patience to grow it out to donate to somebody for a wig, so it might not be long for this world. Well, something this camper is lacking is definitely space for all of the camera gear, but I'm only working one camera right now, and I need coffee. Oh, which means turning on the inverter. To make coffee, we need drinking water. Love this little 12-volt rechargeable Primo pump from Walmart. It is great. And it's also nice having your own drinking water. Yeah, we keep our tanks clean, but drinking water is drinking water. This little device is a tea kettle, electric, and I think it only draws like 900 or 1100 watts, when most devices this size are usually in the 1500 plus range, but it boils water real quick. I have really missed pour over coffee since we've kind of been grounded at home during these past few months. There's just something so clean and crisp about it when compared to, what we've been using at the house is your traditional Mr. Coffee, but it's one of those scoops. I don't know. I love it more than drip. And it is just that easy. These coffee filters are kind of special. We have to get them off of Amazon to match our ceramic coffee little pour over device, but they come to a fine point unlike a lot of the ones that you'll see in the grocery store, they're triangular shaped, but they have like a flat bottom, not to a nice V point, because if you use those, for some reason, I don't know how it does, but coffee starts coming back up and out. Something else that's really nice about the pour over is it is so easy to clean. That is it. And right down into the trash. We like a little creamer in our coffee, and this is a coconut milk creamer that tastes pretty darn good considering it's made from coconut milk and not real dairy. We are also really big fans of these stainless steel double-walled cups. And considering we're using boiling water versus, the old Mr. Coffee percolator, it's hot. And it will stay hot for hours if you put the lid on. Or if you want to drink it more like normal, just leave the lid off. Okay, I am a cap on kind of guy because I'm also easily distracted and I just don't get around to doing everything. So this cup of coffee a lot of times will last me into the afternoon. Something else I like to do every single morning is to check the batteries. And we have this nifty Victron app, and heck, after running the inverter and the coffee pot, we only used up 4% of our bank. Am I forgetting somebody else's needs? What do you need, Sitka? Are you hungry? You want some breakfast now? Okay. Let's get some breakfast. There you go, buddy. Good boy. Sitka's definitely a little on the large side for this tiny of a camper, but he is a good companion and very well behaved. It looks to be a beautiful day here on the Kenai Peninsula in Alaska. Yeah, if you gotta be home, this is not a bad place to be. Okay, wait your turn. Wait your turn, buddy. Okay, there you go. Good boy. Sick is also, like I mentioned earlier, 11 years old, so we really use extra caution with him on these steps. And speaking of these steps, they are great for this camper. The way they kind of fold up, fold out. In the beginning, we thought, wow, that kind of sucks not having stairs that are like mounted to the camper, until we drove the Dempster Highway and everything was covered with mud under there. But our steps were right inside the entryway and stayed clean. You know, in Alaska, it really does not get too much better than this. Yeah, it's a bit breezy. There's some raindrops. It's cloudy. But wait 10 minutes and the weather will change. Sometime through the night last night, we didn't catch them, but some other folks pulled in and set up camp right over there. Always pick up your dog poop, even when you're in the middle of nowhere. Come on, ready? Okay. No, you go straight on, buddy. Straight on is good. There you go. Thank you for making the bed.
You're welcome.
That's day bed back there with our heads against the wall, because it's also our sofa. Night bed is with the pillows right there.
I think if this were a true day in the life video, it would have us already buried in our computers. Ben and I both have a tendency towards being workaholics, and we have lots to do. So sometimes when we need some downtime, we intentionally go somewhere where we have no cell phone service, no internet. We today are going to maybe watch a movie, have a little fun, go for some walks, have a campfire. Fishing, that's right. We're going to do things that normal people do
when they camp. My goodness. And that is one of the big differences of full-timing versus, I don't want to say, weekend warrioring or holidaying. When you're at home, whether it's this cube or a physical location, everybody has responsibilities. And I really feel over like spending the last 5 years or so on the road, we have totally lost that camping feeling.
One thing that we are going to do while we're out here on this trip is play with a new gadget that we have. And you can see it is quite large, so it must be really important for us to be willing to take up the space to have it. But we are addicted to ice, both of us. We have to have ice in all of our drinks.
Daily.
We drink shakes that require ice. We just need ice. And
it's a very American thing.
It is, definitely. But and all the more reason to have one of these, because when we go overseas, we won't be able to get ice.
But there's one thing.
It's the first thing that sends us packing, even before the toilet or the water, because we can find a place to dump the toilet almost anywhere. And water, we can be very conservative with.
40 gallons goes a long way.
We have no way to make ice in here until now. Well, the people at New Air reached out to us and wanted us to work together. And so we had a look at what they offered and saw an ice maker. And we said, okay, we'll test your ice maker for you. So this is a New Air ice maker, and we're going to put it to the test out here camping. We do have AC power, so we can power this thing from anywhere. We're really excited to give it a try.
So Beck just touched on AC power, and you saw me turn our inverter on earlier. So you do need to have AC power, meaning shore power or an inverter, to make this appliance work. We're going to definitely use drinking grade water for our ice, obvious reasons. And in normal form to our style, we didn't read the directions, but it can't be that complicated. Hopefully there's no drain on the bottom and it's all going to come pouring out.
I should go read the directions.
Directions are overrated. Need more water.
Ben says, it's not a very thick manual. It can't be that hard. Famous last words. We'll see how this goes.
Jump right
now
in
what
attitude.
Do you do? Now what?
I don't know. I'm looking. It says add water or ice full. I'll figure it out. I do see a little max line down there.
Hopefully we haven't passed it.
Yeah. I don't know. Let's see here. Large cubes?
Whatever our options. Large or small?
Okay, we got power.
We have blue lights and a green light.
Small, large.
Okay.
And that's power, so I think it's just automatic.
It smells like it's working. I smell
that new appliance.
New appliance smell. We did wash it before we left.
Oh yeah, of course. Well, let's see what happens.
Sounds like it's peeing.
It does. I almost need to go to the bathroom again.
This might be like nice.
Oh,
to
that's
sleep.
a familiar sound of a compressor clicking on. Well, the compressor just clicked on, and that obviously means it's going to be drawing a lot of juice. Let's see the Victron app. Well, it's only minus 2.5. Now, keep in mind, solar is coming in at this time, but if the compressor's running, which I hear, and, you know, we have solar coming in, I know we don't have like 100 amps of solar coming in. This thing might be very sustainable. We'd have to plug it in at night when there's no solar coming in to be able to test it with this Victron app.
We're just so excited everybody's finally coming to where you are. Huh? Oh, well, you have to let me up.
Well, I guess we're going to kill a little time while making ice. Sika is very happy wallering everybody up here. And we have picked out a movie, Couples Retreat. Can't go too wrong there. Just lighthearted and funny. One more quick thought before starting our movie is that it is 9:37 in the morning right now. And I'm only saying that because I want to know how long it takes to make ice.
But that's not real toilet there. It looks like real toilet to me.
Oh, ice cubes.
Well, it's about 10:15. This is what we have in terms of ice cubes. Someone in our house went ahead and read the manual, which tells us that you're not supposed to turn this thing off for 24 hours after you plug it in and turn it on the first time. And that you should dump the first batch of ice cubes if they smell funny, because apparently they might have an odor and you don't want to consume them with an odor. So I could scoop them out because it comes with this cute little scoop, but you can also lift it out. I'm going to make that our first batch so that we don't consume those. Oh, here, something's happening. Ooh, we're gonna get to watch some ice cubes come out. Ta-da!
Now, how do they end up in here? Do you have to move them over?
Why don't you read your instruction manual, honey?
Smart ass. Oh, here they go, here they go, here they go. Watch, watch, watch.
Oh, wow. Did you see
Ice cubes! Bite me, Ben.
One thing is for sure, we will definitely have to make some compensation in terms of how much water we carry if we're going to make our own ice. So either another large jug of water or else a couple of smaller 1 gallon something. We'll have to figure it out.
Well, I'm getting hungry, so I moved the ice maker over to the kitchen table and I'm going to make some breakfast for us. We're going to do breakfast burritos today. I really love these tortillas that you cook yourself, and if you're curious about them, they're the Tortilla Land brand, and we typically get them at Costco, but we'll often see them at regular grocery stores too in smaller packages. Alright, tortillas are done. Time to prepare the main course. I'm going to put some onions in to start. One challenge with this stove is that it's hot or hot, and you gotta get it like warmed up, and then it takes a while to adjust it back down to like a good cooking temperature. So I don't know, it's kind of a challenge, but we've figured it out over the years. One thing about it you might not know is this side's really hot because the flame is underneath it, and this side is cooler because it doesn't actually have a flame, it's just indirect heat. So I kind of go back and forth. And a little bit of sausage, nothing special, just some little beef kielbasa sausages we got from Costco.
And we have this nice egg holder so that our eggs don't break when we're driving.
Well, this is a perfect example of why I like the camper to be level, so stuff does not roll off the counter. Egg test. Oh.
It
There.
rolled a little.
What's the use of having a camper if stuff's rolling all over the place?
I'm one of those people that has to make sure all the eggs are good before they go in the skillet. As an update, I bought this Green Life cookware when we started traveling in Denny 2 years ago, and I am super happy with it. It has lasted really well, like looks great for being 2 years old. It has traveled fabulously, not gotten damaged from being bounced around in the back of the truck. And I really like it because it's healthy. It's made of ceramic, so it doesn't have all those nasty chemicals. It's supposed to be better for your health.
Eggs are cooked, so the oven is getting turned off. You just push this button and hold it down until it glows black. And I don't know if you've noticed this, but we vent we vent this bottom portion so that the stove gets plenty of oxygen so it can operate properly.
Yeah, air for combustion.
Yeah. Another thing that I do is when I'm cooking, I wait until I'm completely done cooking and then I put all of the cold stuff away at once. It's not really because I don't want to let the cold air out. It's because putting things away in this fridge is ridiculous.
It sucks.
And yeah, there's no other way to say it. And if I put one thing away, then when I go to put the next thing away, like the eggs were the last thing I used, but they have to go clear at the bottom, I just end up having to repack it.
Thank you for breakfast, my dear. And we get to share breakfast with an ice maker.
What?
Yeah. So, in a space this small, anything, whether it's like a matchbook size or this size, is gonna create challenges when you add it to the space. The jury is still out whether this, in its entirety, is good for our ice addiction in this camper. Or do we need to work on the actual problem of being addicted to ice? Because this would be really awesome in a larger camper, but we are in an extreme 13-foot long, 6.5 wide, and 6'4" tall box. Let's eat breakfast.
Awesome.
Thank you for making it.
You're welcome. I hope it tastes good.
Can't go wrong.
You'll eat something in tortillas every day of your life, right?
Well, now it's time for dishes, and we are always in water conservation mode because we don't hook up to like full service campsites. And one of the things we've learned over the years is things that are messy, and keep in mind, eggs are not horribly messy, but if you're doing chili or spaghetti, wipe out as much of that stuff as you can with a paper towel and get it into the trash, so you don't have to use as much water, and the water that you do use doesn't get mucked up with like a spaghetti sauce type of product. Found another thing for the refrigerator that you're sitting on, honey.
I know.
There's the Tapatio. All right, so we don't have to like completely change gears in this camper when we want to do things, but when it comes time to do dishes, wipe off the counter so it's clean underneath and deploy the dish rack. This thing's held up really well. I think it's like a Walmart purchase, right?
It was. When we
could probably touch up a little stitching there, but it works great and it dries really quick. Another thing that we have going on in this camper is that the sink is right next to the bed.
Ben's side of the bed.
Yeah. So it just helps. You drape one of your tea towel thingamabobbers over the mattress and everything stays clean, because you can't just go and run and do laundry every few days, and changing the sheets on this bed is actually a nightmare because it's all like confined into that cubby. Like I mentioned, water conservation is everything. The fewer times you have to go get it, the better. And we can really lock down if we have to, but generally for day-to-day travel, we go for about a week, or maybe a little bit more on 40 gallons. Oh, and we have more ice. Okay, dishes are done. We have one of these little mesh strainers to catch as much of the food debris that goes down into the gray tank, because our camper does not have a traditional gray tank with that giant 3-inch hole. It's pretty much the size of a garden hose with an on-off gate valve. It does not take much in the way of food particles to plug it up. But it is nice because we can dump our gray on the fly pretty much anywhere. And final touches here, wipe the counters and the stove off once again. Rebecca's pet peeve would have to be clean counters. I can't argue. I like clean counters too. And in a space this small, it's not hard to clean. And something when it's dirty, it really sucks. So if you just take the little extra time to be a little neater, it works out well for everybody in the household.
The reality is, in a rig this size, the dishes are not technically done until they are also put away, because otherwise they take up the only countertop space that we have.
Dry out the dish mat there, and this is still good. This was used for tortillas.
See?
I'm gonna roll this back up and put it with all of our storage up in here. And got these little baskets from Michael's or Joann's and screwed them together and screwed them to the wall.
They're not pretty, but they work.
That's the way we roll in a DIY camper. All right, so now we need to hang up the tea towel that was protecting the bed, and this is still totally clean, but it's got plenty of life left in it, and it dries right there. Sink has been cleaned out. We're done and ready to switch gears to something else.
Maybe have some fun.
Maybe.
A little update on our newer ice maker. It's about 11:30. We're on our second batch of ice. We threw the first batch away as recommended. It's still going, still making ice, but so far we're at 91% on our battery power. Another thing that we do to conserve this commodity of ice is to use double-walled insulated stainless steel water bottles. We each have one, and it just makes the ice last so much longer.
Oh, especially when it's hot out.
Yeah.
And then we also like to put a little bit of orange hydrate. It tastes wonderful to have a little flavor in your water.
Little electrolytes.
Yes, and look at that. Oh, get it on correct then. There we go. And with giant ice cubes in the right condition, this will literally hold ice all day long. It's done! Huh. It started raining and we're not ready to sit down yet. Well, I don't like a wet ass, so chairs are gonna go in there for now. Got them?
I hope so.
That's a tall lift there. Yeah, a lot of stuff gets stored inside the cab of the truck at night or when it starts raining.
We have tasked ourselves with catching dinner tonight.
Let's give this a shot. Okay, first up, we are going with a lure. A very old, trusted, faithful one called a Castmaster 4-pound test line. And just cast and repeat, cast and repeat. Oh, look at that. There's a trout right there. We didn't catch it on camera, but two, 12-inch trout just swam by 10 feet from the water line, maybe 4 feet of water. This Castmaster, I'm gonna let it sink for a bit, knock the mosquito off my hand, and retrieve. Lure fishing is so much more fun than bait fishing, but bait fishing can be so much more productive. The downfall to bait fishing is that a lot of times these trout will swallow the hook, and you don't release a fish with a swallowed hook. You cook them up.
Well, normally when Ben fishes, I read, and I do have a couple of good books with me, but I'm really irritated with myself because my absolute favorite author right now, it's Ellen Hilderbrand. She writes books about Nantucket Island and St. John in the Caribbean. And every June and October, a new book of hers comes out. And I forgot to download it before we came out here. So I could have been done with the book by now. Instead, I have to wait till we have cell phone service again. I'm gonna come check this thing out. It's like a hydroelectric plant. Kind of an eyesore, but at the same time, kind of a cool thing that humans have made and taking advantage of this reservoir. This is a man-made lake. This is not natural. Speaking of weather, it's probably mid-50s right now. A little chilly and kind of just rains here and there, a few sprinkles, then it stops. A little overcast. Truly a perfect Alaskan day. It doesn't get much better than this. And now you can see it's drizzling again. He's having a grand time though. He thinks this is just the cat's meow. What are you doing, Benjamin?
Changing lures. The Castmaster didn't work, so I'm going to a little miniature Panther Martin spinner.
How many lures are you going to try before you go to the bait?
Minimum 2, maybe 3 if I have a super duper in here. Yeah, I do have a super duper, so that'll be 3.
Okay.
That dog is having too much fun.
He is so happy. Here comes your helper again.
Yeah. Back and forth along the shoreline.
We decided this might be a place we want to stay for a little while, so I brought the chairs down and my Kindle. It's nice to enjoy the sound of nature and the lack of human noise for a while. It's very peaceful here. There you go.
Yeah.
That looks good.
That should work. With a loose drag, we'll be fine.
Okay.
I really should be ashamed of myself. I'm using power bait salmon eggs. And why should I be ashamed? Because I did not cure my own eggs. And it's actually a very easy process.
You used to do it all the time.
Yeah, when I was a guide on the rivers. And the store in town in Seward did not have any locally cured skeins of eggs. So I had to go with Stuff produced by the man.
Commercial.
While I cast this out, I'm going to let you share a very funny story about bait. My first year guiding up here. It was
that story, huh?
Oh, yeah. You are going to tell that story.
All right. The year is 2007. I have just finished graduate school. I've taken boards, but I have to wait until I get verification that I passed them to get my medical license. Ben is fishing his first year as a guide. He had come up the year before to do some training. But this is his first year actually guiding. And I come with him just to hang out because I have summer free. So I got to do lots of reading. I went fishing with him whenever I wanted to. Made some good food. We explored the valley of Alaska, the Matsu Valley. Ben always cured his own salmon eggs because that's what they were fishing for up there. It was on the rivers. It was all salmon. And one night we were having fun and I went to stick his finger in my mouth and he's like, "Oh, honey, I wouldn't do that." I'm like, "I know what I'm doing. You just lay back." Some smart ass remark like that. And I put his finger in my mouth, which, if you don't know, borax doesn't taste very good. And you mix that with salmon egg flavor. His fingers were all stained pink. Like, I knew that they were dipped in borax, but I thought it had been washed off. It didn't ruin the evening, but let's just say, and let's see, that was 13 years ago. I've never stuck his fingers in my mouth again.
Ah, the memories. One really nice thing about bait fishing is that you can just chill out. It feels good. It's relaxing. I don't want to give up.
You don't have to. I can go by myself.
Like my excuse is going to be the fake bait. Those Berkeley salmon eggs were fake. And I think the exquisite Alaskan grade char and trout in this lake know the difference. And they're probably insulted by me throwing that junk out there.
What he's failing to tell you is that we've also sat through like squall after squall of little rainstorms. And I even tried changing clothes and I'm freezing. So I'm going in where it's warm. And he's still deciding if he's staying or going.
I'll help you bring some stuff up.
Oh,
we'll
sure.
leave the line in the water.
Okay. What'd you decide?
It's just gonna be them, me, and the GoPro. I'm not giving up.
Someone was a very good boy, so he's gonna get a chunk of bully stick to enjoy now that we're inside. Well, as long as he's staying out fishing, I am going to enjoy my Kindle, curled up under the covers, and get out of these wet clothes.
All right, switched back over to a lure and chose the Castmaster I have in my box. Let's go work this shoreline and see if I can redeem myself and earn the respect of the fish gods again.
It's warm and dry in here.
I'm sure it is.
It's very cozy.
That's why we bought it.
See, this is the advantage to having a camper in Alaska. It gets chilly and wet and rainy out there. You come inside and get warmed up.
I've found my way out to a little rock pile along the shoreline. Good deep water in front of me. Lots of promising looking stuff aside from no fish. But oh well, still fun. We have dinner.
Yay!
That's a decent sized trout. We're gonna call this good at one fish. Definitely it'll be a tasty one. Trout are very easy to clean. Just kind of go up the belly, get up to this part up here, cut right behind the gill, and wait for it, see if it works out perfect. Zombie style, and here it comes. Oh yeah, all the innards back into the lake because we are in bear country. Got this bloodline. So run your knife through there. All right. Your fingernail goes a long way to get the last little remnants of this bloodline.
So much for staying dry in the rain, from the rain. I know Ben is going to need one of these.
So putting a little bit of seasoning on the inside, a little bit of seasoning on the outside. Flip it over. This is the hotter side of the grill, so more meat over there. That's good. Looking good. Let's see here, give it a flip. Oh yeah,
Stephanie?
I believe so. Doesn't get any fresher than that.
I think it was alive like 11 minutes ago, wasn't it?
It's not long. Not long at all.
I don't usually like freshwater fish. I think they taste muddy. And I love fish, but it's just, I'm not a picky eater. It's just one of the few things. The fish from this lake, though, are amazing.
Here's a bite for you guys. Yum. Circle of life, right back to where he was taught.
It's really nice. The sun has come out a little bit. The clouds have broken. There's no wind. It's really beautiful. I don't know, babe. You talked about them taking your man card away the last time we used one of these. They may take your Alaskan card away, too.
Hey, I don't care. I have put in a day's worth of work filming this video, and I want to chill out with a cocktail. And it's also raining, so
This
I
may
could go
not
through
last very
exactly.
long.
I could go through all the work of getting our real fire going, and then in 10 minutes it's just a torrential downpour. But I am willing to take the gamble on a $4 or $3 fire log from Walmart. Sicko, watch your tail, buddy. Okay. All right, the fake fire is working out really well like it always does.
It's giving off a lot of heat.
It does. It is a serious camping hack if you want a no-hassle experience. Okay, changed gears to relaxation mode.
Boys are watching movies.
Star Trek.
We
Gotta
love
love
the new
Star Trek.
Treks. But we're kind of starting to get hungry. Well, Sick already ate his dinner. So I thought I would make dinner. I've made us a salad. And per someone's request, I am making macaroni and cheese. But I'm going to do it with hamburger and some vegetables mixed in. Kind of make it like a casserole type thing. Takes a while to get the water to boil in here, but it does a good job once it boils. So I'm gonna throw these onions on. Finishing touches on the salad, carrots, peppers, and lots of tomatoes because I love tomatoes. Time for some burger, which is still a little cold, a little frozen, but I'll break it up. The shells are done. Oh, damn, this looks terrible. You don't want any. It's a little bit of a challenge to time it all with the stove top, but I think we got it.
Working off of 1.5 burners is challenging.
Yeah. I hope this doesn't ruin it, but hopefully it'll make it taste good. I'm putting a little bit of sour cream in there. Thought it might give it kind of like a stroganoff flavor. Bon appetit! I added a little cheese and green onions to the top for some color and flavor.
Okay, dishes are done, but they are not done because it takes up the entire counter.
Well, the day's kind of winding down to a close. Seems like a good time to talk a little bit more about the ice maker. Close things up.
Victron says we're at 98%, so this thing didn't make a dent in our power. Right now it says that the ice is full, which it's done that multiple times today. It's actually quite efficient in terms of how quickly it fills the little basket in here. And we have a lot of ice that has been made over the course of the day. So I would say overall, very happy with our little New Air ice maker. I definitely agree with Ben that it's going to go down here.
That's a nice void.
Yeah, we
And
don't have anything else that goes there right now.
And we're thinking we could even maybe put some extra water bottles right there, and they could all nicely fit along the back there. But like I said, time will tell. Let's empty out the last of the ice.
All right. This ice reminds me of the ice cube that Grandma Lucille used to make. She had a round ice cube maker.
That's a respectable amount of ice, and we've been getting that
Yeah, that's
all
like probably the 4th or
day
5th
long.
batch. One thing about the ice makers, if you didn't know this, is that they're not also freezers. So you have to put your ice in the freezer.
We're well stocked for ice down there.
We really are.
It worked.
I'm really happy with it because that's one thing that's always a struggle for us, and this thing's pretty awesome.
Cannot argue that an electric razor in this environment is definitely the way to go. These battery-operated devices are everywhere in our lives. It's like your mouth's been ran through a car wash by the time you're done with the water pick and the Sonic Care.
We're watching Why Him next, and I think it's time to say good night, but not goodbye. We'll see you again in the morning, and we're gonna hit the road and find someplace else cool to stay. Good morning. It's, I gotta tell you, a really rough day to take in. If you look at this incredible weather, beautiful calm lake, got a happy dog here, and a happy husband. Good way to start the day, right?
I hooked one fish already, and then it went underneath the buoys, jumped, and spit the hook.
Oh, bummer. Did you bring the coffee down?
Yeah, coffee's right there, between the buoys.
Oh, okay. We are pretty much out in the middle of nowhere, pretty deep into bear country. So we always make sure to carry some form of protection, either bear spray or the other form of protection that we aren't allowed to talk about on YouTube. We haven't seen anything while we've been here, but we're very cognizant of avoiding attracting any bears. So like you saw, we put the guts back in the water. When we were finished eating fish last night, we put that back in the water. We put the barbecue and all of our cooking stuff away last night before we went to bed. We don't leave any kinds of food remnants or droppings outside of the RV so that we minimize wildlife exposure or calling them in, so to speak.
Another trout. Hey, can you hand me my hemostats over there so I can remove this hook? It's always nice to close out a trip on a good note, and catching a fish is a good note. Okay.
Just like getting ready to go camping, you also have to clean up from camping. This is technically a shower day, but since we've been sitting for several days, the hot water heater is going to be cold. So we decided to go ahead and pack up, and we'll run the engine, which heats up our water, and we'll take a shower at our next stop. We could turn the engine on or turn the S-bar on, but both seem kind of wasteful since we know we're going to drive today. Honestly, not too bad today. We kind of did a lot to get ready last night with the outside. Oops. And all the dishes are done and things like that. So pretty easy cleanup this morning. Not rocket science. Just have to get everything up off the counters. I have to make sure that the windows are closed and not on vent setting. And put all 3 latches down. because we are going to be on some dirty, dusty roads. It doesn't look very pretty, but we shore up the TV with some pillows so that it doesn't go flying about while we're driving. Most importantly, we have to secure all of these cabinets and make sure nothing falls out of them while we're driving. Not to say it hasn't happened. I cleaned up a curry sauce from that cabinet right there once. Next step, all the camera gear has to go back up to the front of the truck. Time to make some fresh drinks for the road. Now then, we talked about those double-walled insulated water bottles. They really do work. And now they go to the front of the truck.
Thank you.
One of the last things to come into the rig, Ben's fishing rods. And normally they're broken down and put away in the back. But when we're home in Alaska, Ben likes his ugly stick, which is a one piece. So we put it on the bed. We do have to remember to close the vent on the fan. You can double check my work while you're in here.
Do you explain that that's what we do?
No, not yet.
Oh, well, we double check each other's work because it could be a total disaster if something gets forgotten.
And how do we know that?
From experience, because we've messed up a lot of stuff over the years. One thing I noticed is the little stopper for the kitchen sink, which helps splashes from, we'll call it the heater hose formed P-trap, that it just keeps the sink so much cleaner. And it took us 1.5 years or more to realize that nifty trick. Like, why is the underside of this getting so dirty while we drive? And why is the sink getting so messy? Oh, yeah, stop it up.
It doesn't happen.
Stays clean. Ugh, that's a high lift.
You can kind of see why we like those logs, because this is heavy and it takes up space and it's kind of dirty. And the other day I scraped the heck out of my leg on it.
Gotta love those stairs. Good workout too.
Yeah.
And then the last part is turning off the water pump, because if something happens, you don't want it pumping
Flooded.
pressurized water. It smells like wet dog in here. Whose fault is that? We told you not to get in the water, Sika. Your fun is over for now.
Now we go to a beach or another lake or something. It'll still be fun, I promise.
So this is how we end up. Shades of blue and gray. I feel just like an empty bottle. My dreams are on delay. I just wanna climb on top of a hill and throw it all away, away. Take me far away before my mind spins off and I am all derailed, derailed. Just drive all the way to the rainbow's end. Just drive, and we'll never turn our backs again.
All right, guys, thank you for going camping with us in our home state of Alaska. Kind of feel like the kings up here because we have the entire place to ourselves. But we're on the move. We're not heading home, but we do need to find a campsite with cell phone service so we can get some work done. And fortunately, there are a lot of really cool campsites that have cell phone service. So if you enjoyed this video, hit that subscribe button because we are exploring Alaska all summer long. We'll see you on the road.